Hey, Justin Haywald.
How's it going?
How you doing?
Just magically appeared here.
You're like the this pants gnome of GameSpot.com.
And I also live in the couch.
Yeah.
And just pop out.
Justin Haywald is here. We're going to do some news. I hear you've got a bunch of news that came out yesterday and news that came out today.
Well, yeah, Mary talking about all the upcoming games. I'm here to talk about some games that are not going to be upcoming, at least in the near future. So some news that broke today. The Witcher 3 is getting a slight delay. I know a lot of us have been really excited to play Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, and it was supposed to come out this fall. And it's been pushed a little bit, and which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's going to be coming out February 2015. And, you know, a delay like this, which is kind of later in the cycle, but with a pretty good tail behind it, can just mean that they're polishing it. I mean, it's not an indictment that the game is going to be bad or that there's a serious problem with it. And this could really be just an issue where they're going to polish it. They're going to make the game better, and it's just part of the schedule where they knew they weren't going to hit that date for it to come out in the fall.
Probably just got to like put a few more graphics in it, right?
Probably some more sex.
More graphics.
Oh yeah, definitely sex graphics.
Because there was a lot of sex.
Graphic sex.
Yeah.
There was
Witcher.
November slippage is not uncommon, but it sort of tends to happen closer to the time slippage like that.
And also games companies thinking about other games that are coming out around that time sometimes like to get out of the way of some of the big titles coming out. And this November is probably going to be pretty crowded with PS4 and Xbox One titles. I can see wanting to maybe get a little breathing room.
Yeah.
And February and March feel like the new November for us.
And it used to be that January was one, because I remember Burnout Paradise came out in 2008 maybe, and there was nothing out for like 5 weeks. So when it came out, everyone was playing it, and the same thing happened with Dead Space the following year. So you could see what happened when Titanfall.
But now
was
it's obviously
out.
fair game. I mean, Titanfall and Dark Souls 2 today, March, two of the most anticipated games of the entire year.
But not all delays are good news. Drive Club, which was supposed to be a PlayStation 4 launch title, has gone back to the drawing board, which is not something you ever want to hear in video games.
Was that their words?
Yeah.
That is their exact words.
Oh, back to the drawing board.
and especially for a game that was supposed to be a launch title, it was going to come out sometime in spring. I mean, so this is basically last minute. Like they're out of time to say anything else that's happening with the game. And instead of delaying it, there was no comment on whether it's going to come out in 2015.
Yeah.
It's back to the drawing board, which essentially means that whatever they were working on has been destroyed. Like they've canceled it. Probably some key team members have left, is what my best guess would be. I don't have any inside knowledge. And it's just going to be a completely different game if it happens at this point at all.
So following in the tradition of first-party Sony racing games, this will come out years after it's supposed to, or initially come out. This is kind of funny because in a way when this was coming out, when it first announced, people were talking about how, I guess Gran Turismo, they sort of, maybe Sony are falling out of favor with the guys at Polyphony or whatnot. Are you at all surprised that this has happened, considering what little they've showed of the game seems to be previs and not actually gameplay?
It was surprising that we saw so much of this game at E3 leading up to it. Like, this was a game that I felt was going to come out, but it was way too crowded, especially in the launch lineup of Need for Speed, Forza, Gran Turismo is something that a lot of people associate with Sony.
Yeah.
And then introducing this new franchise that we don't know a lot about. The cars look really good, and everything that I've seen looks nice, but it's not a game I think that is on a lot of people's radars compared to Forza and Need for Speed and Gran Turismo.
And perhaps even The Witcher and other games as well, you know what I mean?
I think that it's interesting that they say going back to the drawing board, that they're that candid in the press release, because a lot of the times they'll delayed in I feel like they don't always so heavily imply we need to make a different game.
What does going back to the drawing board in a racing game mean, though? I mean, we need to reinvent racing.
We're going to go with triangular wheels.
I think it could work.
These circle wheels just aren't working at all.
I don't know. Poor Drive Club and poor Witcher 3. Hopefully at E3 we'll have a bunch more new games getting announced that'll fill the gap in our lives that those games have now left. Justin Haywald, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.